Hey everybody, it's
Cam,
and Kadie,
we're back to the couch.
and we're quarantined.
Bum bum bum. So yeah, for those of you who know, we live in Spain, and if you've been paying attention to the headlines with this whole worldwide situation, Spain is currently on lockdown, and we have been for almost 2 weeks now. So it's been pretty crazy. So we kind of just wanted to put out a video just to kind of tell you guys how it's been. I know a lot of our families and friends have been reaching out to us saying, "What's it been like? How are you guys doing?" So we just thought it'd be a good idea to maybe post a video, give you a little insight to how it's been here in Spain during this whole situation. We're going to, by the way, refer to it as the CV situation because we've heard YouTube's being a bit strict about misinformation and stuff like that. So just to be safe. Anyway, this whole CV situation, we thought we'd give you an idea of what it's like in Spain. And maybe for some countries, it's a bit of a heads up because it looks like some countries, maybe Ireland and the UK, especially because, I'm from Ireland, my family's there. It looks like they might be headed in a similar direction. So it might be a bit of a heads up for some people. So yeah, so it's been a pretty crazy situation and it came so quickly. It almost went from like, oh yeah, we'll see what happens. We should be okay to like within 2 days, total lockdown.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it started on a Friday. So on Friday we started to hear that the cases were growing, and that especially in Madrid and Barcelona, those were the two biggest areas, which you can understand. Those are the two international airports. So that makes sense. Anyway, so those areas started growing. That was on, and then on the Friday we had heard news that like the government were thinking about maybe taking action to try stop this. They're worried about it spreading. And Friday night, we were on our way to the gym. We were like, we wonder what will happen. Will they like close down like restaurants and stuff? Like, how will this be?
Yeah, we heard rumor that there was going to be a closing of the gyms and restaurants for 2 weeks. And I was like, well, that's a maximum of 2 weeks, Cam. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way. And that's when everything
Literally,
started.
we were in the gym that night, and then the government here announced it that from I think that was the 14th, from the 14th to the 29th, so 15 days, everything's closing. Restaurants, bars, gyms, any kind of.
Everything besides grocery stores and medical centers.
Well, at first it wasn't that concise. It was like there was still some like
Yeah.
closed stores and stuff open, but then after a day or two, they just closed too. So yeah, so literally they announced it that like everything was going to close, and it was just like that. It was like Friday night, as of tomorrow, as of midnight, everything's shut for 15 days. The Saturday was the first day of like they start shutting down stuff, and then on the Sunday, literally the next day, they announced state of alarm, which is basically quarantine. You're not allowed to leave your house.
Yeah, so when we were out in the gym, we found out about everything. But that whole weekend, we were going on walks to the beach. We could freely go anywhere. We just couldn't go to restaurants or the gym. That's it. And then as time progressed, the rules got stricter and stricter to the point where the only thing open was grocery stores and medical centers. And when we went to the grocery store, we go together. And then days later, we found out that you get a fine if you're driving with more than one person in the car. You'd get a fine if you were walking at the beach. There was just so many rules, so it just got to a point where it was like we're stuck in the apartment 24/7. Like we can't go anywhere together outside of our apartment. So we've been quarantined here ever since.
Yeah, like full lockdown too. Like the police and army are like patrolling the streets, and they're like they're so strict on the fines. Like we know so many people that have gotten fined.
Hundreds of euro.
Yeah.
We're talking hundreds of euro.
Minimum, I think like the minimum fine is like 300 euro, and it can go up to. I read in an article, it can go up to depending on like if you fight back or if you like repeatedly get fined. The fine can go up to 30,000 euro or jail time. Like that's how strict they're getting.
So we've been staying inside.
Yeah. So it's been crazy, and it's been such a fast domino effect. Like literally every day, it was like we're finding out something new.
Yeah.
So we were like glued to our phones, constantly looking for updates. So it started on the Friday. They announced they're going to shut bars and restaurants and gyms. Then on the Saturday, that all shut, but it was still fine. People were out walking and stuff. No one was really worried. Then the Sunday, they announced state of alarm, like try to stay in your homes. Don't really go out unless you need to. Then on the Monday, they announced they'd be closing parks and beaches, so no one was allowed to go there, and you get fined if you go there.
Yeah.
And then, like Caitlin said, a few days later, they were like, "Oh, and from now on, you're not allowed to go out more than one person. If you do go out for groceries, you're only allowed one person per car. If you're out and about, you have to social distance." I went out to the grocery store the other day to get some stuff, and obviously I was on my own, and I was standing in line waiting to pay, and a worker came up to me and told me I was too close to the person in front of me, that I needed to step back. And then I looked down and they had all these lines on the floor of like, what's the distance you have to be. So it's just been crazy, and they've gotten really strict on it. Like we said, they've been fining people just left, right, and center. And then what's even crazier is that at the start of all this pandemonium, Caitlin's parents were here from Utah, and her uncle from Utah.
Yeah, and they were panicking
It
because
was awful.
their flight to go home was canceled. So then they scheduled a flight within a week to get home because they thought they were going to be locked out of their country, or there wouldn't be a flight from Spain. So then that flight got canceled. So I get a call one day and they said, "We have to leave tonight. We don't have a choice." So their trip was cut very short.
Yeah.
And another thing that's been hard for us is our church has been completely around the whole entire world, worldwide. There's no church, so we do church from home, which has been a really neat experience for us, but it's just weird because
Yeah, it's so different.
I'm very grateful for Cameron and that I have company here, but for all of you who are alone during this time, give people a call
Yeah.
and phone call people and Skype people, because it's a very lonely time. Even for the two of us, we have each other.
Yeah.
You're out of routine, and a lot of people have lost their jobs too, which is hard, or they're out of work and they can't afford food. So we just can't lose hope at this time, and we need to help each other. You know, if
Yeah.
someone's in need of food, you know, your neighbors.
Yeah, pay attention to
Yeah.
people. You know, if there's someone you know, they might be struggling with food and stuff, like ask them how they're doing. Like send them a message. If you have some extra groceries or even an extra few quid, like, you know, help them out.
Quid means money for any of you American people
Go
watching
back
this.
to our Irish slang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of segues perfectly into kind of the next thing we want to talk about, was just like, if you are quarantined, be prepared and like do your best to make the most out of the time. We've really learned very quickly that like having that much time on your hands can be a bit crazy, and it can, like, you know, you can get really bored. You know, there's a lot of people out there that suffer with depression. So something we've really learned, and we learned it quite quickly, is to like make the most of your time and keep yourself busy. Even though you're in your home and maybe you don't have, like, you're not going to work. You know, some people work from home. We've been doing a little bit of work from home. But some people don't have any work at all now. You know, they're literally just sitting around their house all day.
Yeah.
Still keep busy. Still try to keep a schedule, plan to do certain things. Like we like to, you know, one thing we love to do is read the scriptures, and we read other books. So we spend some time every day reading. You know, we spend some time watching a movie or a series. We spend some time doing some cooking, just different things to keep ourselves busy, where we're not literally just binge watching Netflix all day, every day, because that gets old fast.
Oh, and it's not good for you to
Yeah.
just sit all the time. It's not
It's
good
really
for
not.
you. But it's funny because everyone has a different situation. I know a lot of moms and dads out there that they're used to their children at school all day, and now their situation's different than ours. We
Yeah.
can get bored, but there's some people out there who they're anything.
Running around after
They're the
kids.
furthest from bored. They're busy. So I just think we all need to, you know, really take some time to meditate and focus on what's really important. And, you know, if you don't have a hobby that you can do in your home, pick up a new hobby. Like Cameron was saying, I've really picked up cooking because we can't go out to eat, and it's been really fun for me to get to know new recipes and things. And then we've been doing at-home workouts together.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing I was going to say, is like, it's hard to find the motivation when you're quarantined, because literally you're just in your home all day. You feel really lazy, but do find the motivation to like break a sweat, you know, even if it's like something silly, like just running on the spot for, you know, 5-10 minutes. Like even something as silly as that. Like, you know, we like to work out, so we've been doing all these different types of body weight workouts and trying to implement things and be a bit imaginative. But you really do. You have to stay active. I mean, especially for us, we just found out another part of this domino effect. We just found out a few days ago that our quarantine's been extended 15 days.
Yeah,
So
to be honest, we don't know when this quarantine is going to end for us.
yeah,
We really,
yeah, because we got told officially, definitely an
Mhm.
extra 15 days. So instead of finishing March 29th, we're
Yeah.
now not finished till April 12th. And now there's rumors circulating that it might even be longer than that. That it might
Yeah,
go
so
until
all we're saying is don't lose hope. We don't know. Every country's different, but we
yeah,
don't know how long we're going to be in quarantine. But I will say something that we've been talking about a lot recently is, when you're bored, you have a lot of time to think. And a lot of the times when you think too much, it can either lead to making plans and setting goals for success, or it can be detrimental and you actually backpedal. And they say the mind is Satan's playground, and you need to be aware of, don't be bored to the
yeah,
point where you're depressed or you're
yeah,
having bad thoughts, or you're just down. you
yeah,
you need to keep yourself busy, and like I said, if you're alone, reach out to people.
yeah.
There's so many people who are alone as well, who would love a call, or maybe you could write a note or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. But yeah, basically, times are tough right now.
I think it's important for us to do our part. At the end of the day, this whole situation isn't a huge emergency for the majority of the population. Not everyone's dying from this. It is, the majority of deaths are older people with underlying illnesses, but that doesn't excuse you from, taking it seriously. At the end of the day, like, that older person with an underlying illness could be someone you know, someone you love, and you would be heartbroken at the thought of losing them simply because someone else was foolish, someone else wasn't doing these precautions.
Yeah.
So it is important to take it seriously. And I mean, more and more information is coming out now that there are younger people suffering with it. You really don't know. Like, at the end of the day, you might think you're healthy,
Yeah.
you might think you have nothing wrong with you, but little do you know you have a low immune system.
Yeah, and also we don't fully understand CV yet, so we
they
can't
haven't fully,
assume because of the information we have. But I also will say I've heard a lot of people saying back in the day, there's people who had to leave their homes and go to war because their government was asked for them to go to war, and all we're asked to do is wash our hands and stay at home.
Yeah.
So follow the rules and the guidelines that your government has set. Try to stay as positive as you can and realize this too shall pass.
Yeah.
It's not going to last forever.
Definitely. And make the most out of it, like, with all this free time, it's an opportunity to really to find things that you can either fix in your life or new things that you can develop in your life. Like Caitlin said, with all this free time on our hands, it's time to take up new hobbies like cooking or reading or different things like that. It's an opportunity to kind of reflect on our lives, because in the world we live in today, I feel like everyone's just so busy all the time. There's just constantly something to do. And even if you're not busy, it's like, oh, social media. Where now, like, because you just have so much on your time on your hands, like, we're sick of social media. Like, we don't care to look at it anymore, honestly. It is a chance to kind of reflect on other parts of our lives, other things that we can really focus on. So make the most out of it. Technology is an amazing thing. You can call people, it's almost like you can have group gatherings over technology, so make the most out of that. And I think we just need to all make our efforts to help this get over as soon as possible, because regardless of the issue itself, the consequences are affecting us all. So you might think like, oh, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm fine, I don't need to worry about this. But if you go out and you become a carrier and you spread it to 100 people, and then that 100 people have to go to hospital, and some of those people may even die, it's just going to prolong this whole situation.
It's a domino effect. The only way to prevent this currently without a cure is for us to avoid it, CV completely.
And social gatherings and
yeah,
all those things. So just
self-isolate and be positive and reach out to other people. And that's basically all you can do right now. But yeah, Spain is very unique right now, and so much is going on around us, and the world seems chaotic right now. So anyway,
stay positive, stay hopeful. This will be over soon. We just have to get past it. And it's not the end of the world, but it is something to take seriously. And that's definitely the lesson we're learning here in Spain in our current lockdown.
But anyway,
so yeah, that's our video. We just wanted to kind of fill everyone in on how things have been here in Spain. maybe a little bit of advice as to what to expect for yourselves, and just a little bit of advice from what we've learned about how we can best combat this and get over it. So we hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. Obviously, during this lockdown period, we're going to take advantage of it and try to do some more YouTube videos. And yeah, stay tuned for more.
Yep. Thanks for watching. Everyone stay safe, and we will see you soon.